We are biased for Africa, and we believe that we need to innovate for Africa.
Hi everyone, I'm Sabine van der Linden. I run Venture Labs under the name of Alchemy Crew.
My name is Tunji Andrews, founder and CEO at Awabaha.
You need to have products that are simple enough that someone that's never bought insurance before can understand them in a 2-minute phone call.
2014, Nigeria's first insurtech platform was formed, Moto Genius.
I believe there's a huge opportunity to reshape the narrative of insurance.
This is Arun Iyer, founder and CEO of Alpha Direct.
Dr. Neto, founder and CEO of Wella Health.
My name is Benton. I'm the founder and CEO of MTech.
This is Dlo, the CTO at Pineapple.
This is Herman from Austria, Managing Director of Assurance.
So join us for the new season of InsurTech Business Series podcast. Fresh conversations on InsurTech in Africa. Subscribe now.
This year, the first edition. So this panel is going to be exploring some of the essential digital foundations that the industry must prioritize now, and how the NIA Innovation Lab and some of the other programs that are also running is advancing and should be advancing this vision of co-creating practical solutions that can help the industry. And yeah, I called you first, but it's not that I knew that I would ask you this question first. But so the first question I want to ask is to Rashidat. So what does a digitally enabled insurance industry really look like, and why is it even critical at the moment?
Thank you very much. I mean, Damola says we should try not to shake tables, but he's not asking us to shake tables. So as an Ibadan girl, I take that as a clear instruction. And it's a very tough question you ask. What does a digitally enabled infrastructure look like? So because it doesn't exist in our country, and I don't think we can really take a parallel fully from the international market alone, I would look at areas in our country where things are digitally worked. And perhaps maybe the easiest one that, if I look at the age range of most people in the room, will be, the mobile phones. And if we look at just barely 20 years ago, it was a luxury item. In fact, SIM cards were being sold. It was an exciting time to own about it as individuals. The only thing that really makes sense is to have the right infrastructure. But infrastructure doesn't come on its own. I think today we spoke to some people and said tech in itself can solve every problem of tech. But unfortunately for us, tech alone cannot make things work. Because if you are a patient and you eat food and your body cannot digest it and let it go through and perform all the duties, then you've lost the benefit of eating the food. And there are people who actually suffer and need to take medication to make sure that the drug can serve their body well. So if you think about the industry, yes, we must build the infrastructure. And the rails, Damola, you spoke about, is one of the things we're talking about here. But rails require certain things. The mindset has to be one of abundance and positivity. And I apologize, but I'm sorry. I don't think we have the mindset of abundance in the industry because everybody is in a territorial process. So for us to really get the benefit of it, we need to move beyond our territories. Because if you're just trying to be a protectionist person of your own business, of your own market, and you're not ready to share information and share data, then we cannot proceed. Then it means the market cannot scale. Because we're all just trying to keep the amount of money that is just ridiculous. 1.9 billion naira of revenues, 1.9 trillion naira revenues. This is the revenue that some of the smallest companies in some markets are delivering in a year. This is our entire market. That amount could triple overnight if we all collaborated differently. So this point of territorialism, we need to address it. And by just starting small, because sometimes change doesn't have to happen by you doing big things. Just doing a few things differently. So maybe my one challenge to all of us here and to all the leaders is let's make this change truly happen and take a few steps. The steps are open yourself up for change. We have to build rails around uniqueness of ID so that we can price, we can understand clients' behavior. We're also not problem focused, where what we have focused. We're giving clients what we can sell. We're not really addressing the client's needs either by not listening to how they want to be spoken to, or we're not addressing them and creating options for them. But it's improving, but we're not there. So things are slow. So the speed can be addressed in many ways. We can speed up ourselves. It's possible. Maybe a few companies are doing that. But that speed might not be the same level as when the whole market is changing. If we have a great market where everyone is benefiting from an exciting space, honestly, even the smallest companies will be doing exceedingly well. So if we can remove and create that abundance mindset, not a scarcity one, I think even from that aspect, we will be maybe to make a change. And to give other people time, maybe just, the last point for me would be just being curious to ask questions. And somebody said there's a level of curiosity that makes it a difference. And that is the curiosity I'm trying to get back. We all lost it as children. It's childlike curiosity. A child can ask you 60 questions. I don't know if you have any nieces or nephews. You answer them, they ask you again. When we're growing up, they'll say, stop asking questions. Don't talk back to your elders. So I think a lot of us have developed in that space by not just asking more questions. And by asking the questions of our clients, of our staff, of the experience of people, we start to find out things that would help us. So to really get this infrastructure to work, do we need it? Yes. But we need the people and processes to enhance the benefit of it. And we need you guys to log in. If the money is too much, let's say the money is much, can we start from somewhere? Rather than just stay in our space. And will it not have problems? It will have problems. But guess what? The best way to overcome it, when we started calling, there were problems. In fact, it was 1 minute. If you spoke for 10 seconds, it was 1 minute call, they will charge you. But now you can charge per second. So we're saying the future is bright, right? If we can only go through the challenges of today. So I'll sort of say to you in summary that infrastructure is essential. We need everybody here. And we need people to accelerate the speed for us. Let's not be shy. And sometimes we will stumble along the way, but let's just pick ourselves up and stand again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I want to ask you, Ebil, from your own perspective, I know she mentioned a few things in terms of infrastructure that we probably need. From your own perspective, you're on ground, you are leading tech, and engaging with some of these things, you are hit with the challenges sometimes. So what are some of the biggest infrastructure gaps for the industry from your own view today?
Okay, thank you. So the answer actually came from the chairman's presentation. He said it's not all about architecture of hardware and the rest. Is architecture of collaboration. We can discuss from now till tomorrow. If there's no pathway to collaborate, we'll still be saying the same thing all over and all over again. For instance, we have NICOM database, we have NIP, we have NID, we have ICO database, we have Salam database, data all across, but we just need to collaborate. So, looking at the, the insurance flow, number one from sales and distribution. For distribution, if you check the Indian market, they have a single platform for distribution online. It's called the Bima's something, the website. So they distribute there, and it will manage your policy end to end. It even manages collection, manages claims. And after that, we move to KYC. KYC is the one that just got demoed now. And for KYC, if you check the banking industry in Nigeria, they have a single body that even manages everything. They have the NIBs. You connect to the NIBs portal as a banker or as a banking organization, you can access everything. You access the team, you access the NIBs, you access debiting, you access payment, you can do everything. So the expectation is for the industry to have something similar to that. I connect to NIA portal as an insurer. I can access all those different platforms, and they are done at the cheapest rate you can get. So yeah, okay, that's for sales and distribution. Then it comes to payment and collection. How do we collect? You see money point all over the place, 70 million agents. How do we collect premium? And again, how do we maintain policy? Then to claim settlement, do we still go through normal way of settling claims, or can this claim settlement be paid instantly, taking advantage of the banking APIs that we have? You apply through your phone, and it will do some little verification, and you are paid. So all this cycle, we need to look at it one by one as an industry and see where we play. But the best way to encourage the developers, the different demo we have seen, they are in MVP state, that is viable products. If we don't encourage them by actually without subscribing to it, that idea, it will just wait for 1 month, 2 months, the idea might just go away. So the best way to actually encourage innovation is to partner with them, use their services, and they will start improving. We have Windows 95, Windows 97, Windows 2000 before Microsoft eventually lock everybody, all of us into all these 360, 360, and we are paying millions of dollars to them on annual basis. So we just need to support them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting perspective. And next, I want to ask Mr. Adetola, from your own view, you're leading the NIIRA Digital Working Group. I'm just wondering, looking at all of these gaps and things that have been mentioned, how are you thinking about this vis-a-vis some of the potential impact on customer trust, customer satisfaction, and even the value to customers as well?
Thank you, Damola. Okay. First of all, in terms of the digital working group, one of the things we're meant to do is look at the gaps within the industry. The beauty of that, and I think one of our subcommittees would have probably reached out to you as well, the NIA Innovation Lab, to see how we can collaborate. One of the challenges we have in our markets is also a challenge that is borderline. We promote a lot of individualism and selfishness, but we don't promote enough of what we're talking about in terms of collaboration. And also we talk about the other, having to work with the individual, maybe system or infrastructure suppliers. We should all deal with this person or that company. But one of the challenges we have in the market is also a challenge of the fact that we don't collaborate enough within even the tech enterprise structure. Because we've noticed, and taking it back to what NIIRA is trying to do, NIIRA is also trying to encourage a market that is highly digitized, particularly from a regulatory perspective as well. So we are looking at a system where we have a regulatory enterprise resource platform. And a regulatory enterprise resource platform is also a foundational point for the industry itself to begin to look for an insurance enterprise resource platform, and perhaps to get those who are in different parts of insurance, whether you're looking at it from a production side, whether you're looking at it from a receipt side, which is a claim side, whether you're looking at it from a regulatory reporting side, because for an enterprise to be sustainable, there's also issues of governance. And issues of governance have to be attended to as well. Poor governance means, fine. Fine means your cancellation of license. Fine also on the revenue side means, customer disappointment, failure of the insurance companies and what have you. So to come up with a digitization of NIIRA itself requires that we just do not look at revenue side, because a lot of what I hear in the market tends to talk more to the revenue side. It's also beginning to look at the claim side, and it's also beginning to look at the reporting side. If we can put this triangle together and we have a healthier insurance company, then we can now begin to talk about, product differentiation, where the tech people can then begin to create a more should I say, individualized approach to differentiating between insurance companies. So the fundamental base is what is being looked at. The hygiene factors can be unified, then the nice to haves are really what would differentiate one insurance company from the other. So when we separate the fundamental, the foundational, which is, just basically governance, structure, regulation, and then we take it to the hygiene, things that whether you are company A or company B, you're going to need the same things, losses, loss reporting, claims adjustments, claims payments, basic compulsory products, they are going to be similar. So all these similarities can be brought together under the banner of the NIA. So perhaps, a resource platform that is centrally controlled might help insurance companies to thrive. And that's what we're seeing now. On the fundamental basis, you will even find that from the gap analysis that was done, we have 5 subcommittees that are looking at different things, and also collaborating we have the financial inclusion working group, we have the compulsory insurance working group. So we have, the digital working group is more almost like a central. What the challenges are is that we still have insurance companies today that do not have even a basic system to work with. And that challenge also goes straight into the regulatory part of our industry as well. And the honest engagement is really to say that rather than us trying to offer modular or sectional solution, we bring the modular providers together with an enterprise platform provider so that everyone can then work in unison. And in doing that, we will then achieve, one of the beauty of NIIRA is that it also sets a base for achievement in terms of requiring the regulator to have a service standard for a number of things. And once you begin to standardize service standards, it means you can program. And once you're able to program, it makes it easier for insurance industry practitioners, whether you're, an intermediary, whether you are, underwriting, whether you are a service provider in terms of losses and what have you, to be able, to plug into those platforms and do what is required. Another thing that NIIRA is also trying to achieve, which the regulator is passionate about, is that knowing that the fundamental basis requires pillar support, is also trying to say that we need to find a way. It could also be collaboration with the College of Insurance or the Chartered Insurance Institute to come about an industry report that basically talks to digital, that captures the foundational and digital maturity of the insurance industry. So with that too, so you're getting the service level at one point, you're getting the later reporting at another point. It's showing that a staged approach to getting the Nigerian insurance industry fully digitized is required. And that approach is one of, and I've heard it across collaboration, but I'm going to say is one of enterprise resource platform that we need to build. Then taking it again further, that enterprise resource platform has a bit of a challenge. It's a capital challenge as well as a collaborative challenge. And one of that capital challenge is that the local developers that we have that are concentrating on only sectional parts of the insurance industry do not have enough to command the type of investments that they also need to command. If we then begin to look at digitizing the insurance industry, from even helping the local producers to come together and then support and fund them, will achieve the regulatory base, and the regulatory base will also encourage the industry itself to basically become, maybe to leapfrog and maybe to grow to digitize in a faster way. So I don't know, it's a cross section of different things that needs to come together. But one thing for sure, and what our group is trying to achieve, is really to help companies determine that fundamental platform and to stage how they're going to, from a governance structure, meet the requirements of those fundamental platform, whether centrally through the NIA, whether through the CIN, and then before now talking about what are the differentiating factors in terms of the products that they want to put into the market, and also to drive the to 6 trillion, as you said, times 3, to drive the 6 trillion naira. Hopefully, dollar would not have tumbled again, because most of the time when you convert, Nigerian naira back to US dollar in terms of international measurement, you find that the insurance industry has not really moved at all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. So Mr. Lekon, again, you are also you're in the field, right? Facing these tech challenges, and my own question to you is around some of these initiatives, some of the things that you have seen, being a mentor in the program, some of the solutions that you've seen in the program, some of the things that have been discussed. How timely will you say these initiatives are in terms of all of the things that is happening now, and what should we be doing to ensure that we don't let this slip?
Hi, I'm Dr. Neto, founder and CEO of Wella Health, where we're building affordable micro health insurance options using community pharmacies and covering common conditions like malaria. Really love the InsurTech Business Series and encourage you to listen.
Thank you very much. If you say how timely, I will say should have done some years back, lagging behind. So timeliness is not the issue.
Okay.
But if we didn't plant, maybe let me use palm tree. 3 years ago, this is another year to start planting it. So I think the maturity level of insurance has gone beyond these small things that we are doing. But we have to start from somewhere. And if we start from here, I think it's like laying foundation for us to build a bigger thing. If you look at what is happening in insurance, we are not scratching the market because people hardly trust us. People don't believe in us. We are selling insurance. Nobody is trying to buy the insurance. And if you continue doing like that, it will just be like, and that's why we have all this competition here and there. Red ocean competition, people just pricing market. You say you can shake the way a bit, your guys are here. What they people just what we see that we just have central pool that all of us are just struggling to pick from. We are not expanding the pie. And having this kind of innovation, I think it can lead to a lot of things. Reduce the fraud level, because if you know customer A, customer B, if you come to A and B and say, if the data is shared accordingly, you can easily pinpoint what is happening. You can do your statistics. Because when I see some statistics that's been coming from NICOM, from anywhere, a lot of double counting, what I'm writing, what ICO is writing, what everybody is writing, they will pick it one by one. And all this kind of thing, because we don't have any unique way of identifying our customers. And if you talk about timeliness, I would say we don't have option. We need to go all the way to make it happen. But we cannot do it alone. A lot of people have said this thing. It's a collaborative thing that we have to do. And that has to do with the leadership and all of us that we are following to. We must be deliberate about it. We must be determined. We must do it in a way that we want to move this industry forward. Somebody just talked about the little money we are making. Up to today, we are still talking about number of uninsured vehicles. Even with the introduction of NID, we still have a lot there. But all of us, we still keep on just struggling within that space. We need to see insurance that we are not doing the right thing. And the only way we can expand is through technology. No amount of agents you have, especially nowadays that we're having the Gen Z and all those other people. If you don't go through these means that they can trust you, they can be sure that they are doing things in the right way, they will still not do it with us. I think, to answer your question straight, I think it's the right thing to be done now, even though we should have done it yesterday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, we should have done it yesterday, and I get your point, right? I get your point. That's also a reason why I'm happy. We have the NIA Innovation Lab, right? And we're going on that journey. And maybe Rashida, from your own perspective, in terms of like the the lab and what you've seen, you're involved on the behind the scenes, right? What must we sort of do next to sustain this collaboration that we are? Because one of the things that you see, at least from the program, was very intentional collaboration, and that's why a lot of the innovators, one, they work with mentors. The other thing is that they actually visited insurance companies. Yeah, there are insurance companies here that did actually speak to this, and those are intentional, so that what you are building is actually solving a real problem. So I know that Abel and Liko can attest to some of the next that you've probably seen. I can solve all the problems. So Rashida, what do we do next?
Jam question. Unfortunately, I've not attempted jam. Maybe
I'll
I'll
start now.
Yes, I'm starting to learn again all over, because I think sometimes the cycle of growth is changing. Before, people started work at the age of 25, they retire at the age of 60, and I have an European colleague whose father is 95. And the man, he started work at 25. He worked, I think, 60, he worked to like 60. And between 60 and 95, he has now lived longer than he first worked. You understand? As we're all having a healthier lifespan, we're going to keep learning and expanding our scope, and we have to keep relearning. So I think, first of all, is for all of us to accept that this is the right time. And to have everyone in the room, I think you need to give yourselves a round of applause. At least we are here. So I think we deserve to. I think there's no better time we've had a regulator who is not just talking, but is acting. A regulator is also setting up an innovation hub. None of us are perfect. We're all learning. And I think the moment we know that we're all learners, we should just take that as an impetus. And why? I think even if we have not had a child yet, you've seen children around. And when they first start to learn to walk, I'm sure if you've ever witnessed the disaster it is, they're constantly falling. So imagine if every mother said, please, I don't want my child to injure themselves, so don't let them be falling, right? The child will never learn how to walk. None of us ever stops a child from learning how from stopping from falling. We'll just scream at first. First few times, like, yay! Then you realize that every time you scream, the child will cry. When you don't scream, the child will just stand up and, they'll dust it off. So we need to be in that mind zone of, we will fall, we will stand up, and we will dust it off. And that's going to be required of everyone. So please don't expect perfection, but just that discipline of commitment is essential. When you're starting something new, some people that know me closely know I like Simon Sinek a lot, and I read his books, I follow his podcast, and he has something called the infinite game. And he says life is an infinite game. We're the one that sets judgment for ourselves. If you don't meet that target in December, that target can be met if you really look at it maybe in March. So maybe you set a March target for yourself in December. But guess what? You have another chance to start at it again. And they give an example that if you are in a place, where everybody just focus on creating a customer-obsessed outcome, honestly, you won't worry about whether your competition is number one today and you are number one tomorrow. You just constantly keep putting yourself to be better than where you were before. So what do we need from you? We need support. I think everybody has spoken to it, to work with the innovators. This is not about choice. If you are the leader, you lead in here. Because what we've seen before is that the leaders, they already have, I don't know if this is right, but the leaders, because you're already leading, you are comfortable in your lead. I'm sure we're leading in a tiny ocean. If all of us, we're all human beings, and I think we have value. Imagine if they kept paying us the same salary every year for the next 60 years. Like, we can't move forward. But we're basically doing that to our clients. We're not going out of our space to create value to our clients. Examples, and one is a table shaker. NICOM says minimum pricing is 5% for comprehensive motor insurance. We know it doesn't really make sense. Why? There are clients who have huge valued vehicles. They have multiple cars. They don't drive it at the same time every time. And then we have a client that has a Toyota Corolla and just drives it to work and uses it to do side hustle Uber. We're charging them exactly the same price. But rather than go to NICOM and justify and show the data points to NICOM that let us not charge the same price for this Toyota Corolla and this expensive Jeep, because I have the data, it's more profitable is this. Let's charge the big cars less and that goes on the road level. Do you know what we do? We just cut corner. We give the customer 4% or 3%. real life money, and you will now give them a documentation of 5%. Are we crazy? And we think we're helping the customer to pay less. And the customer told me, Rashid, that I'm not going to insure with you because somebody else has given me something cheaper than you and giving me a documentation for 5%. But your industry is fraudulent. Goes back again to the trust issue. So beyond that, we have to think that why are we in this business? What is in it for us? What's our purpose? The purpose is just to make money. Maybe we should find another business, because the people that will end up making money in this business in the long run are those who are defining value. So even as we're working on all the initiatives, what is value? And how do we bring value to the table? Customer, what does value mean to you? We should observe the customers from afar, from near, ourselves, through other people, through behavioral scientists, because the value last year is not the value this year, and that's not going to be the value tomorrow. So we must create that discipline of investing in research, in learning that we're going to change, and creating a system that doesn't just change once, but can adapt in an agile manner. We can say it, but we must do it. And guess what? It's not about your age. It's just about your commitment, your passion, and how ready you are to learn. And learning from a 10-year-old, because some of the 10-year-olds will tell us what is happening better than we know. And the moment you can put all of this together, I'm extremely certain that change will happen. But guess what? If we continue to do the same thing, there will those who will be beyond us. And we are talking about, 6 trillion industry. This industry, if it doesn't grow if the industry by 2030, okay, no, let me say 2035, if the industry doesn't double 10 times, the industry will not be at the level it is today. So if you're not creating a business plan that shows that you're going to more than double by 2035 in 10 years' time, honestly, you're going to become a straggler in the industry. That's what it is. So you must be creating a business plan that says you do times 20. That cannot be normal. That's an exponential mindset. That is what the tech startups, that's what they teach themselves. That's how they work. And we're always happy when we grow 20% in the year. We'll just say, thank you, shareholder. We are going to give you 15 kobo dividend. So this is where we're going. And I'm sorry that I take a bit of time, but like you said, shake the table a bit. The bad of blood is very bad. I'm trying to work on it, but we have to just share to ourselves. But guess what? We're here. But let's start anyhow. Anyway, let's fall on the way. Let's stand up. Let's not give up, because it's in our hands. There's no savior coming from outside. We're the only ones that can save ourselves, and we have the capacity to do so. So thank you. I'll stop here.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, if you remember that I said shake table, forget it. So they are shaking on their own volition. So I know we are from the body or comments. Yes, or comments, but just two. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. Thank you very much for the knowledge shared. One of the things
so your introduction, your name.
My name is Shupo Shogelola. Okay. Now one of the most important thing that you asked the first question, you said, what are the issues? One of the greatest problems, and that was mentioned by Abel, is actually database. For example, as we don't have information on the vehicles available in Nigeria. And I can tell you that the information we have is not absolute, is not correct. Because by the time you count the number of policies in each of the companies, that is, counting third party, comprehensive, and so on, you will see that the information we're using is already out of place. So we need to look at how to get those data together. And where is the sources of this data? We need to go back to vehicle registry and so many other. And I'm also thinking we may just need to collaborate with NIBS to get those information that is required. And also with our design, when we're looking at digitalization, we need to app or whatever we're going to be using, in such a way that when you give your name, your number, your name. You must collaborate with what has been registered. You must collaborate with what's on NIN. You must, so that not be able to keep giving it. Most people, when they're buying policy, is the agent's number you will see. You can have agent's number, 1,000 number. You will never be able to reach the owners or the actual people that these are areas going forward, let's look at such a way that we can get this together.
Thank you.
We're designing a product. We had to go to Crew in Manchester to get data to use for Nigerian market. There's a product we were trying to bring to the market, but until we got to Crew, and when we got to the way they got their data, they extracted our inherent problems here in order to that same device. Because there, when they plug the device on the post, the device will not be removed. But here, if you plug the device, people will remove the device so that to reduce the premium they have to pay. So we got to think of how our inherent abilities, our incorporated into whatever design. Our people are fast thinking, our people are smart, but we got to look at how to navigate all these issues so that we get actual information. We got there and we got stuck at the point that we knew that our people will remove the device, use the car. It will not record that they have used the car. And then at the end of the day, you find out that you are shortchanging yourself. So they had to start designing a new thing for us to use in Nigeria so that we can beat those shortcuts. I can help. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I think it's working.
I'm looking about things that can expand the Nigerian insurance market so that products will evolve from NIIRA. If you tell me, NIIRA is a grand norm, but we have to work with it. We have to develop apps with it. And this is one of the beginning points for us to get it right in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Let's go ahead.
I think I would like to raise three things. One of which I wanted us in the room to also realize that the 5% we're going to look at tariff from a compulsory insurance point of view. And then because, for motor liability, people can also buy their own damage and the premium can be mixed together, called comprehensive. So own damage plus liability comprehensive. The markets essentially went to the regulator to request for this increase for whatever reason possible. So maybe one of the things that we then need to do as a market is to come to an agreement as to whether we want to go along a deregulated pathway for discretionary products as against compulsory products. In fact, in some markets, they've also deregulated compulsory pricing of compulsory products, because what you pose as a liability on the road is different from what I pose as a liability on the road. And so therefore, no one is actually charging even a fixed rate for liability in developed countries. The latest one that actually dropped tariff, and it was published as well. Asian countries are beginning to drop tariff. Malaysia dropped tariff because you have to price liability also properly. A commercial bus driver A is different from a commercial or corporate bus driver, commercial bus driver B. A company with a fleet of vehicles in terms of liability posed by each of the vehicles is different from somebody who uses their vehicle every day. So these nuance points are really where we need to get to. But are we brave enough, to get there? Where the market is actually deregulated even for compulsory insurance, where, and again from the compulsory insurance working group, where the idea should be the maximum premium rather than the minimum premium, because government still needs to regulate pricing so that the customers are not taken advantage of. So we start talking about maximum premium rather than minimum premium, then you can do what you like. The second point is on data. And, we have a lot of data within our market, but they're also not well coordinated, and even outside the industry as well. One of the things that the digital working group is looking at, and, suggestion has run across as well, is that whilst people are afraid to leave their BVM, but they're happy to leave their NIN, all of that is also being seen. Is to say that, can we create a mask for these more personal identity that is more like an insurance identity? So there are proposals for, having what you may call a national insurance identity. So with that national insurance identity, you can then begin to, buy all sorts of insurance products and services. Once your national insurance identity is put in by company A or company B, it's the same identity. And, that can also manage fraud. So we're getting that kind of, governance structure for data as well to help improve data collection. The second part to that is that I think in our market, again, we're continuously focused on revenue and products, but we're not also looking at governance. Governance is one of the many points where an insurance industry can be sustained. And our governance structures tend to be quite poor, and even governance in terms of data. One of the gaps that, has been seen in our market as well is that companies create all these different products for competition between themselves, but these don't talk to each other. We don't have standardized APIs, so people are not even able to link easily. So the challenges of APIs, also come into play. Then the final point is, now, sorry, maybe I talked too much and I didn't jot down. Is on the what Mr. NCRIB. Sorry, can you, if you don't mind, can you please remind me, summary, your final points? Yes. Okay. So I've spoken to that. So essentially, the challenge is also a lot of companies have all these different apps, but they're not necessarily also talking to each other, which is really what they're not consolidated. And, from a regulatory perspective as well, we're looking for all this how to create a bridge of all these different things where, the challenge that, Rashida is talking about as an industry. But what we're trying to do from a regulatory standpoint is to create, walkers. And, babies are walkers. You don't have to walk and be falling over. We're also in an insurance industry where there's we have to also think about safety. And one of the things that we're trying to do with digitization of NIIRA is actually to create walkers, baby walkers, so that at least, when you use the walker, the child will even be excited. Oh, I can move, but it's the walker that is making the child move until the child now tries to move by its own. So I want to see NIIRA as a walker for the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's difficult to top the walker point. Maybe to Mr. Shuk, suspect there's something on that in one of the pitch teams coming, but we'll see it. And I suspect there's something on that in one of the pitch teams coming, but we'll see it. And I think it will go beyond just one person issuing that identity. It's creating a framework and a standard that everybody can use. So that's the thinking. We're not trying to create a monopolistic environment, but create an environment that is standardized so that every company can work on it. But one of the things I've also seen from experience is that the employees in our companies need to understand the reason for these things. You see, one of the biggest issues we have, and even after we've had some sessions here, and I asked some employees in some companies, they said, our MD, they don't tell us all these things people are saying during your meeting. And when we started trying to do innovation, and I'll go maybe to the earliest memories I have, it was probably further before then, but at least in 2015, when we started doing some things, some people just said, what are they doing? So what's special? I've been doing insurance for 20 years. Who are these people that are coming? To actually make the change, the first set of people we used to make the biggest changes in our company were just first-class graduates. Not because we thought they were just the smartest people, but we just felt we had a new set of people who were on fire who were engaged. And when we did that, it made a big difference, but we also saw that it was creating silos. Some people say it's first class no more than us, have you? Who are the people making the money from them? Is it first class? And this is real. And in our organizations, we're trying to bring this new data team, this new team to help. But if we don't connect the dots to the existing team, we're going to be in trouble. And in some instances, we're going to be able to reskill the people we have in our companies, but we must make an effort. And the process of change needs to come from there, and they must own it. Because every time we did change that was not owned by the team, and they couldn't account for it, the change did not happen. And one example is that you will bring the new solution, and they will say, one problem is there. That one problem, they will explain the 16 things that problem, they will not move again. And and we will harass them, we'll fight. But in the end, you have to end up encouraging and creating a system that will just keep challenging itself, because it's a process. So even in every organization that hopes to make a change, please be prepared. It's not going to be, they won't even tell you that we're not going to agree. In fact, they will be at every meeting and people will agree with you. You will just realize that things are not moving forward. And I'm just being honest with you. But it took some time. And then I had to learn that whenever any innovator came to our organization, and some of the people that are here might know, I might talk to you and get what you're saying, but I'll bring the team and say, go and talk to them and get what they're saying. I'll not tell the team, tell me what you think. I already know what the innovation is looking for. I think I know I have an idea of how we can help, but I want to see what they see. And sometimes they are looking for too much. They're just only making Gary and Eba, but they want to eat 16-course meal from the best hotel. It's a lie. We cannot get there because the company cannot pay for it. So you need to bring their reality down to say we can move from Eba to making Gary to make Eba and make some vegetable soup. So sometimes they bring too many requirements. And we need to get the discipline to go fundamental to what is needed. And that's what starts that data point. Data is there because if I cannot go and meet NICOM and NICOM cannot tell me how many customers we uniquely have in the whole industry, how can I compare myself to my industry? So if we don't get this foundation of identity right, and if there's nothing else you're able to do in your organization, if all you do is eKYC to start with, you need claims, by the way, but we'll stop there. But if you get that identity right, then you can truly compare how well you're doing. Then you can truly find out who is doing what is wrong. And someone talked about the agents putting their phone numbers there. If we create a unique number for every client, the agent is only trying to do what? Protect their turf. They want to make sure that you don't go and carry their clients. And they're just trying to meet their targets that we give them all the time, and we keep increasing. And because we don't have anything to catch them out, they will do it. So we have to understand there's a reason for everything. And please explain to guys in your team. And the team here at the Innovation Hub, all the innovators, they are available to come into your offices and engage further. So please, I'm just imploring you, in the end, if we don't have a better industry, we cannot be better companies. We will just become big players in a very, very tiny.
Thank you. So, last words from Evan and Lake.
Okay, let me just have this, because if we start talking about data, we'll be here for so long. Data, I've been on data for several years, and insurance data to be precise. So I think we should pack data now. It's massive. So my advice to the lab, I would say every idea should be well documented. We should not just drop it here. It should be well documented. Technical documentation, business documentation, and the go-to-market documentation. And also the next one is for some of them that will be warehousing data. For organizations that are connected to foreign investors, there are some certifications that will be required. You can't just keep data without being a certified data software that can store data. So we should get them actually certified so that they won't get to the point of signing the contract and we throw them out. And also for each product, we must have a product to finish everything at once. So you must break it down into the sprints or into releases. For 6 months, first 1 year, second year, so it should be clear. Yeah. It will also help you to manage your time on what to do. And the area where the industry will also help is in the area of pricing. For instance, for NIN verification now, if there's a way, for instance, I think SimFix, if there's a way the industry can help them negotiate in bulk. And then anybody that will subscribe can easily have the cheapest rates in the industry, because for most,
it's not the first time that the industry will take this move. It's not the first time that the industry will take this move. I've been in the PEC committee for long, and then I've been in the PEC committee for long, and then eKYC, data sharing. Even when we are building the NID, we built it in the way that people can submit claims, can share data. But we're always meeting big roadblock. Why? Because people see the competitive edge. We are not seeing that the collaborative tools. So we need to break that barrier. And the leadership here is very critical to that. We should see that you are just playing big company in a small environment. So if we want to expand, we want to make the industry grow, we have to try and drop that. The second point that he raised about people going to NIPS. Yeah, even as a group of the CIO in the industry, we make that move. But if you are having this and it's from our own, I'm sure everybody will be ready to and willing to connect to you. But you must be ready to look at the data governance. Your data governance will be the security and some other things that can encourage those leadership to say, okay, now let my people do it. Those operatives, they are ready to do a lot of things, but if there's no directive, there's no guideline, there's no instruction, there's no support from the leadership, it's always a problem. So the leaders are here. We should change our mindset. We should see that we are building an industry that when we look back after retirement, we should be happy that the industry has grown to a certain level. Thank you very much.